All right, welcome to In the Box. We got another great show for you. We got a special guest, Cheryl Cooley in the house, guitar player from Climax, man. And we got a great show, so get ready for it. We're going to come right back.
Fundamentals and building blocks. Turn to advice when I'm in that spot. When I got questions, and that's a lot. Perfect time to hear from Rico in the box.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
What's up, y'all? How you doing?
What's up, y'all? Another Friday.
Yeah.
Cheryl Cooley. She was on Music Industry Makeover last night, so we have it here, but we're gonna have another little segment. So what's going on? How you feeling, Cheryl?
I'm doing good. I had to do the all the little home duties today. So it's Friday. I'm going to enjoy the 3-day weekend, the holiday weekend as best I can. No complaints.
Yeah.
Man, that's kind of crazy because I didn't find out it was Memorial Day until yesterday. We're working so much. But before we get started, we're gonna do a little housekeeping. Y'all, if you guys know, make sure you go and subscribe to Music Industry Makeover, the Music Industry Makeover.com. Subscribe to the actual site as well. If you can, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast in the box as well. And then also, DJ Run and Run Top 10 Countdown is gonna be coming. Yep. Talk to them about it, Ron. Talk to them about it, bro.
Starting another season probably next month or so. All right. And again, if you're an artist out there, make sure you send me your music so that we can highlight you there on the top 10. Okay. Because we want to give you as much exposure as possible, for sure.
And we also go ahead, bro.
I would say don't forget to join me on Tuesday nights, Critical Dialogue, as well as Thursday, the Music Industry Makeover. All right. Yes. In the box. Yeah, go ahead.
And also, man, we want to shout out a sponsor, Finial Max. If you're looking for a website, special right now, $99, mobile responsive. Can't beat that, man. We still in COVID. And if you don't have a business, you should be utilizing every opportunity, every tool to be virtual, so that you can make money, man. So don't allow people, man, to keep taking money from you. And if you don't prepare yourself, man, you can't get ahead because you don't know what's going to happen. And then let's not forget about our partner in crime, Simone Henry, SA Music TV. Supporter when you can. If you can, go over and sign up. Simone is on with us on Music Industry Makeover every Thursday night. And again, man, we appreciate you. And then don't forget the Just Life podcast coming up this Sunday. So it's gonna be at 8 p.m. We missed last week, and of course I had twins, man. The twins, man, keep you up and keep you moving, boy. Keep you.
Congratulations, man.
Man. But I'm happy to have twins. So, all right. So we got that out of the way. Cheryl Cooley, man.
Yeah. Men on pause. We need
to hey.
Climax. And just to kick it off, meeting in the ladies' room. Yes. Top 5 Billboard, right? Yeah. Before we hit there, man, I wanted to. I wanted you to kind of delve into something, but I want to show this first.
No,
you got you here. Man, that's a plaque there.
Wait a minute, I'm the one holding the record there.
That's the one holding.
That's right. That's why that's the original Climax there. Now, the thing that I want to jump into, because when you look at that plaque, a lot of times, man, people they see the finished product, right, and they think. They have no idea of the work that went into getting a plaque. And I want you to start, man. You start playing guitar when you was 11, right? And I want you to talk about just the regiment. When it comes to practicing, how much did you practice? And how long did it take you first to get your hands? Because we talked about before we came on the calluses that you have to get in your hand to play the guitar. And I said, hey, I play all brass instruments. I play piano and drums, but I ain't about getting the calluses on my hand. Because I know to be a great guitar player, you got to get them. So I like that's one instrument I won't play. And I ain't got no cap. Talk about the regiment and being a guitar player musically.
Well, at age 11, you don't have a lot of distractions. I happen to be an only child, the only child at home because my sister we're like 16 years apart. She was already gone to college. So I was kind of home by myself, and the guitar was really my playmate. Um, I suggest anybody who can get, any type of lessons, whether it's from a community center, private lessons in school, to always try to learn the rudiments of any kind of instrument, whether it's, a horn, a guitar, a drum. So I was, my parents were able to give me private lessons, and I went once a week for like a half an hour. The teacher, you know, being a child, the teacher gave me songs that I had heard on TV or the radio, which kind of gave me, sparked my interest. Like, oh, I can play this song. I heard it on the radio. And it's not like the whole song. It would be like, just the bass line or one or two notes or something like that. I remember being able to play Twilight Zone. It's four little notes. Ding, 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 ding. So, getting the instrument in your hand and having a regiment to play it often. If a child, an adult, a student is excited or it's fun to play, then they're going to practice more. I didn't own a guitar, so my parents rented a guitar to see if I was going to even like it. So if I didn't like it, then we would move on to other things. So, practicing is very important. Now, how many hours a week depends on your life, depends on how many hours you can dedicate. I mean, I've heard some musicians say they practice, 8 to 12 hours a day. I couldn't do that. It could probably keep my interest for maybe a good 2 hours. But I mean, if I had to sit in one setting, but if you break it up, throughout a day, sure, it could add up to about 8 hours. You go and come back. There's going to be some pain. I mean, you play guitar, you're going to have, pain in your fingers. You play a horn, you're going to have pain in your lips. You play a piano, some kind of way, you're going to have pain in your knuckles. So starting off with an instrument, there's going to be some pain. And then, the concentration of really, what is it that you're trying to do? Are you just trying to play songs? Are you trying to learn rudiments? A lot of times that depends on the teacher and how they teach. Now, some teachers teach like I learned, learn how to play songs first and then teach the notes. Some teachers, they teach the notes first and then how to read the music to play the songs. A lot of times for children, that's boring. But eventually you're going to have to be able to read the music, play the music, and you keep going down the line, you're going to have to be able to play by ear. So all of those things were added to my regiment as I got older and got more and more guitar lessons. And then, in school, at the time I was in school, they didn't have guitar as a curriculum. So I didn't really get a chance to play in school till I got in high school, where they had guitar as a curriculum. Guitar wasn't always considered a classical instrument.
Right.
Yeah. So that's basically, where I took private lessons, and then I was able to play in the band and the orchestra in high school. And then I went on to study commercial music at Los Angeles City College. And that's where I got my degree from.
So you were born and raised in Los Angeles?
Uh-oh, you broke up. What was that?
You were born and raised in Los Angeles?
Well, I'm originally from Chicago,
Okay.
and my parents moved to Los Angeles when I was 10. And then, ironically, the next year I started playing guitar. So I've been in Los Angeles the majority of my life. Sure. Uh-huh.
So as a guitar player, as a female guitar player, because I got to jump in there. As a female guitar player, right?
Right.
As a female guitar player.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
As a female,
Okay.
female guitar player, so that's making me feel some kind of way. We just say like we even was able to get calluses on her hand, and you've been, I don't know what to say about you, bro. But as a female guitar player, when you actually got to that point to where you was creating professional progressions, right? And you started playing in front of people. What was life like as a female going around, because there were not a whole lot of, there were not any other females guitar players,
Right.
and you get ready to step up and you're playing. How was it received? What did you go through? What was some of the sly remarks? Talk about that, because there's other female musicians, right? And a lot of times, when I was a band in school, depending on who you were as a female, if you was your gender, a lot of band teachers discourage certain instruments that you should play,
Yes.
right? Because
You're right.
I played bass horn, tuba in the marching band, and we had one girl tuba, but she didn't make it because of the regiment. And I think a lot of times it kind of made it kind of hard, for a female. But talk about that. I want you to talk about being a female guitar player and some of the things that you went through, and being a Black female guitar player. Because you got to understand, guitars were really a Caucasian thing, right? We kind of, as Black people, we navigate to the piano, we navigate to the drums. We might even pick up a trombone or two,
or a
saxophone. But many of us did not play the guitar. Of course, we got the BB King, the Chuck Berrys, but a Black female. I want you to talk about that.
Well, I grew up seeing these bands on TV, and in my growing up years, it was kind of a new thing. Funk music had come out. It was like, ooh, this is kind of, whoa, what's going? It was a contrast to what the music business was with, say, Little Richard. The bebop type thing. The big band music. All of that was before funk kind of hit the scene. I didn't have an example, you're right, as a female guitar player. Of course, there were the Carole Kings that kind of played folk music kind of thing. But, she wasn't always performing or anything like that. She was more of a writer, a composer. So I'll put it this way. I didn't know I couldn't do it. So I did it.
Wow.
Nobody said, "Oh no, girls can't play guitar." I didn't have that. My family was like, "Sure, that you want to do it." We don't care. For some reason, my mother always gave me a toy guitar for every other Christmas. So I don't know, maybe the guitar picked me.
Did you play with a band before you met with the girls?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many bands did you play with before you finally landed in that band?
Right. Well, all through college, I played with different cover bands. So, I could probably say 10 and that would be right. I could say 5 and that could be right. I just, I don't remember because it was a progression. I started playing in bands when I was in high school, and then, went on to college. And actually what's interesting is that, if I remember correctly, I met Climax maybe a year, maybe 2 years after I graduated college. Now, I bring that up because, a lot of times musicians, upcoming musicians get discouraged because they think it's not going to happen for them. But when I look back at my timeline, everything was laid out, like learning guitar lessons, learning it in school, going to college, playing in cover bands, and then voila, I'm in this all girl band, So we should never be discouraged as to how things are lining up for us. Now, picking the guitar and, playing in high school, yeah, I got some of the guys that were like, you can't play, you a girl, girls can't play. Yeah, I would get that. But my teachers were like, oh, that's great. That's awesome. So, I got encouragement and support from my teachers more so than the students.
Wow.
I wound up being in the talent show in, junior high, or what they call middle school now. And I was also in every talent show in high school. So, the students there knew me, as Cheryl, the guitar player, because I wasn't in a band. I just got up there by myself and sang and played. So there was a lot of recognition that I got in high school from playing guitar. Now, as I got into college, well, actually, I had a high school boyfriend that had put a band together that I was in, and I played, most of high school with that band, and went on to college and played in other bands from there. Because once my skills developed, being able to play by ear and read music, then other bands found out about me and would ask me to come in. And so they kind of thought it was kind of cool that a girl could play guitar, but most of the time, I won't say all, most of the time, I always ran into guys who would challenge my talent because I was a girl. Now, again, I raised my hand because I was too, I'm going to use the word stupid. I mean, whatever, naive, stupid, dense, airhead, to know that they were plotting against me.
Right.
Because I'm just thinking music. I'm just thinking, hey, this is fun. But there really were, when I look back, or maybe I saw a situation, there were a lot of guys that felt intimidated by it, felt, threatened by it. And sometimes they would try to sabotage me. But for whatever the reason, God, the universe was like, okay, Cheryl, let's just move you over here because he's going to hurt you, So I was fortunate to be able to play in these different bands, learn skills, running some good professional guitar players. Matter of fact, I met Ray Parker, the guitar player Ray Parker. He showed me some things that just totally changed my playing forever. It was like a chapter change, because he was like, yeah, you can play the parts, but it's not what you're playing, it's how you're playing it. And that just changed my playing technique, since then.
I want to stop right there 1 second.
Okay, sure.
You said a couple phrases that were monumental in you telling, your experience. The first, you said you had to develop better.
Yeah.
Right. And then the second one, you had to learn some skills. Right.
Yeah.
Right. The reason why those stood out as a highlight to me, because, again, when I started the show, we showed the plaque, you holding the plaque, gold plaque. Right. But you have to develop better.
Yeah.
And you have to learn more skills. So I want to go back to those two things, and I want you to talk about that.
Right.
On those two things.
Right. Now, first of all, let me say practicing is boring. Dang, let's be honest. Practicing is boring. Because you're playing the same, you're playing them over and over again. But that repetition is really important because it builds the motor skills, it builds the timing, it builds, how you attack the note or approach the note. No matter if you have to play 3 notes for a half an hour, there is a purpose for that to happen. You've got to be able to learn how to be, pitch perfect in a sense. For guitar, make sure you're placing your finger in the middle of that fret, in the next fret. You can't be sliding, trying to find it or out of the fret. So those skills are those practices are really important to learn where to place your fingers. If you're playing a horn, how much air to use, where to place your fingerboard or your valves. When you're doing a saxophone, same thing, valves, how much air you got to blow. All of that you have to do with repetition. There's no way around it. Practicing repetition over and over and over until your muscle memory learns how to do it automatically.
Muscle memory, good word.
Yeah.
Muscle memory, good word.
Yeah.
When you so now I'm gonna fast forward a bit. You develop better, you learn some skills, you started playing. Now I want to know, what was your mind frame when you got with Climax? When you guys were together a year before you got signed. Did you guys know how long were you guys together before you got signed?
Okay, let me step back just a little bit because there's a part of it that's spiritual first.
Okay.
I knew that I wanted to be a star, rock star, music star. I just knew it. Before I started playing guitar, I had this dream, daymare, nightmare, whatever you want to call it, of seeing myself on stage. And this is really important because there's a level of visualization sometimes that you have to use to convince yourself
good.
That's what you want to be, do, and have. So I saw myself on stage. I hadn't had my first guitar lesson, but I had like I said, some kind of toy guitar in the house. I saw these guitar players on TV. So I saw myself on stage. I'm playing guitar. The lights are going. The music's going. I'm getting ready to step up to the microphone and sing my first note. And I happened to look to my right and looked at the band and go, they look kind of funny. They look kind of odd. That's interesting. But it wasn't scary or anything. So I just stepped up to the mic, sung the first note, and boom, the dream was over. Fast forward, I don't know, 15 years, I'll say. Climax is performing at the Olympic Auditorium in downtown Los Angeles. The music is going, the lights are going, the audience is there. I'm getting ready to play, getting ready to sing my first note. I'm playing guitar. I step up to the microphone and say, oh my God, this is the dream. What was it that I couldn't understand in the dream that I can see now? I looked over to my right. I saw the rest of the band, because usually I'm on stage left. I looked at the rest of the band, and what it was an all-female band, a concept I couldn't have had when I had the dream, but all of a sudden it has come into my fruition, has materialized, and I can finally see I am living my dream. Wow. So that's why I said first it becomes spiritual. You've got to feel it in yourself that you're going to make it, you're going to do it, you want to do it, all of that. Because a lot of times people will have the excuse that they want to do it because they want, like you said, the glitz and the glamour and all of this and everything. But you really have to want it to do the work.
I just wanted to jump in there and say, hey to Danny Ray Smith Jr., Roosevelt Anderson, and Lisa Barber. But Roosevelt was a high school bandmate, was in the band with me. And the first time I seen him pop in the show, man. So you bringing my partners in, and he knows he used to be out there with me. We was on a hot sun marching in a hot sun. It was blistering. Boy, that's it. I'm 50, so I know he about 50 something. But I just want to say, man, he said exactly. He was kind of agreeing to, developing better, learning more skills. Being able to practice, we practice and practice. In the summertime, before football season started, we practiced, man, every morning. We had to be in the bed at 7 o'clock. You learning routines, you learning scales, and before you even get to the game. Now,
you have to. Yeah.
Some people may say, well, man, why you always talk about practicing? Because practicing make perfect. And that is the one activity that most artists do not want to do. They don't want to practice.
Right.
They just they want to step up to the mic. Now, fast forward, you with Climax, and what happened to lead to your signing? Like what led up to it, and what was your state of mind when it dawned on you that y'all was going to get signed by a label?
Well, remember, I said, I knew that I wanted to be a rock star. Right. I happened to be playing in a cover band at this rehearsal room. These girls were looking in the window and saw me playing and just ran into the room and said, hey, you don't want to play in this band. You want to play in our band. We have an all-female band called Climax. And because of the level of training I had, I could look at them and tell they're not on my level. So I didn't call them. And then the guilt started hitting me. And I said, I was wrong not to call them, at least show up. So I called. They were like, oh, we're going to have rehearsal tomorrow. So I went to the rehearsal. And the thing that kept me there is that they were having fun. Mm-hmm. They may not have had the technical skill that I have, but they were having fun and they had a dream. So, everybody in Climax all has a different story of how we met. Nobody knew each other before we walked in that rehearsal room. One girl we got from a recycler newspaper that sells refrigerators and, all kinds of stuff. Wow. Another girl, the vocalist, she had originally auditioned for Rolls Royce, but they told her she sang too strong for their music and referred her over to us. Word of mouth. It was just, everybody had their own story. It was just no way we could have put that band together if it wasn't for, I don't know, divine order. I have to give it credit. So we were together, seriously, because we have a Cinderella story. We were only together maybe 4 months. And I'm telling my supervisor at a bank that I'm working at about this all-girl band I'm in. And she says, "Hey, if you give me a demo tape and a picture, I'll give it to my uncle. He's a producer for Peebo Bryson at the time." So I gave him, gave him the picture, or she gave him the picture and the tape, and he had a meeting with us. And basically he said, "This isn't good at all. There's nothing you guys are going to ever achieve."
Wow, man. I mean,
but let me just say, when one door closes, that does not mean another door won't open.
Right.
So he happened to be having lunch with one of the vice presidents of Solar Records, Margaret Nash. And he said, "I got this all-girl band. Here's a tape. They're not that good, but maybe you could do something with it." She lost her mind when he said an all-girl band. She was like, "I got to go see him." She came to our rehearsal. She was all smiles. I'm sure we were rough around the edges, because of course she's with Solar Records, right? But I'm telling you, they were so excited about the concept of an all-female band that the president of the company, Dick Griffey, signed us in within a month. We had a recording contract in less than 6 months that we had been together. However, it took another 6 months for the deal to really come into fruition. It didn't start till like that beginning of the next year. So with that, they had the producers come in and train us of how it is to record on a record. You got to practice. You got to have the training from professionals. I mean, if they're going to invest money in you, as we had this conversation before, if the record company is going to invest money in you to make a product to sell on the market, your record, they've got to make sure that you have the professional talent level that they can market you to have people come and buy your records. So yeah, we were probably together for a good year before they dropped our first album called Never Underestimate the Power of a Woman.
Now, real quick, who were your
Who was our what again?
Who were your mates?
Oh gosh, you break it up.
You echo. Put the headphones on. You break it up a little bit.
Just ask who was her mate on
label mates? Oh, label mates. Okay, we on Solar Records we had Shalimar, Whispers, Lakeside, Midnight Star, Carrie Lucas, Collage. Who am I missing? The Deal with Babyface. They were there. I think I got everybody. Yeah, it was maybe 10 artists. It wasn't a huge label, but because it wasn't a huge label, they were able to really pay attention to each one of their artists.
Right.
Wow. Awesome.
So now you got the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Once you guys got the deal, what was your first performance as a group? And what was it like? What was your first big performance, rather? Once you got signed, when you had more than 1,000 people in the audience, and what was that like?
Right. Well, it's also in the day before video, so a lot of people didn't know we were all female band. So our first show, we, if I remember correctly, we opened up for Evelyn Champagne King.
Oh wow!
And, yeah, because her song out then was, I think, Shame. If I'm not, there's another song that she had out. I just can't think of it right now. And people were like, "Wow, a bunch of girls up there playing instruments, and there are no guys on the stage." But we were excited mainly because we were on stage with Evelyn Champagne King, who we had heard their record on the radio. We were like, "Wow, she's big time." So we were really excited to be able to have that opportunity and have basically, people, buying tickets, paying their money to come in and actually sit there to watch us, as opposed to playing a club gig where people are really coming in there to, buy drinks, chit chat, maybe listen to the band, maybe get up and shake their booty a little bit. But the focus is not always on the band. Where when we were in a concert setting, it was all about us. So yeah, it was a little nervous type of thing going on, but we were still excited, nervous and excited at the same time.
So you guys started performing. you know, what was when you had the hit, Meeting in the Ladies' Room? Now, how did everybody respond to that? Did the group, you know, did you guys grow tighter from that hit record when it was a hit? How did you know it was a hit, and what at what moment did you know that Climax had arrived? Right.
Okay, right. Well, what a lot of people don't realize is that we had two albums that didn't do well before we got to Meeting in the Ladies' Room. So we were kind of already well rehearsed. We had like, rehearsal 2 and 3 times a week, whether we had a hit or not. Even like today, we still rehearse, whether we have a show or not. It's just, automatic. Just keep your skills up because you never know when that phone is going to ring. So, we've had 2 albums that didn't do so well. The third album, we, have these songs on here. Meeting in the Ladies' Room, written by Midnight Star. The Men All Pause was written by a couple of the girls in the group. So the first single that came off of that album was The Men All Pause. Now, one thing that really triggered that was that Solar had just created a new label that was distributed by MCA. And MCA was really excited about having an all-female band. And they had the mechanism to really get us out there internationally. Now, by that time, video had came out. So not only were we on MCA Records, but we had a chance to do our first video where the buying public could actually see that we were an all-female band. So I really have to give it to MCA because they had the mechanisms, they had the machine, they had the staff to be able to really promote Climax with this, all-girl band, which even as of today, we are still the only R&B all-female band has charted on Billboard. So
did they treat you guys good? How did they treat you?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Solar treated us good. MCA treated us good. I mean, I can't complain about the energy and the effort that both companies put behind us. They really did push us.
So it made you feel like family being on the label.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You didn't feel like you were just. Why do you think that was the case when artists of the day they complain so much, and you guys knew that you were employees, right? Having a label.
Right.
Why mentally, why is it that you guys feel as though you were treated well? Was it the fact that you responded well to what was told, or the fact that you understood that somebody was doing something for you and you was having an opportunity in a lifetime to do something and you guys didn't mind jumping on board and playing your part? What was it from your standpoint that caused them to treat you guys so good?
Well, first of all, the companies, both companies, Solar and MCA, they were very professional. I think one of the things that we lose nowadays is that everybody kind of is out there on their own. And both Solar and MCA were a corporation. They knew that they had to have a certain level of professionalism to put a product out there for people to start buying. I mean, we're talking about products, millions of copies to be bought. So you don't want to get out there looking half-ass or whatever you want to call it, raggedy. I don't know. So, but as artists, we were really excited to have the opportunity to do it. I don't know if we realized how special we were, which I don't think we did. But at that time, we all wanted the same thing, to be a musician, so we didn't have to work another job, if nothing else. Because, so we knew we had to do the work to be able to sustain a level of income to make that happen. But you have to work hand in glove. The company, the recording company, label has to work with the artist. The artist has to be willing to be available for interviews, for recording, for touring, for autographs, promos. I mean, it's just a hodgepodge of things that you have to do to encourage that person that's holding that money to invest in your talent. You've got to basically just, I don't know, be on stage 24/7. You see somebody, hey, there's Cheryl Cooley from Climax. I immediately got to go into, hey, how you doing? Can I have your autograph? Sure. I mean, I'm not going to say, no, you can't have my autograph. I'm excited because they're excited.
Right. That's good. That's good.
But the artist, there is a sacrifice. But if you don't want to sacrifice, man, the hell are you there?
There you go. Exactly. Yeah. Why are you there?
you know, the heck, the again, the hospital workers are doing more than the artists. They're trying to save lives. The artist is just expressing their talent. So why would somebody want to spend their money on you just because you're who you are? You've got to show them something. You know, it's all about how you make that person feel. If they feel great when they listen to your music and they want to get up and shake their booty, they're going to give you that money. How you make a person feel is how they're going to give you their money.
So you guys got hits, had a couple hits, or had some hits, and you ultimately broke up in 1990. But I want to come back because before a breakup happens, just like in a marriage, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
There's some build-ups and blow-ups. There's some foundational principles. There's some boundaries that get crossed. The reason that your wife left you, the reason that your husband left you, right? So what I wanted to, and we know about the 1990 breakup, right? We're gonna talk about that. But I want you to go back because you got hits. Because what has a computer is y'all strangers coming together had hits. I keep saying that again. Had hits, right? Yep. They spend no money out of your pocket, have hits, right? And you get a deal. People invest money in you. You had hits, and you start having problems. So talk about the first sign of the problems, because this is going to be therapy for somebody that's in a group, that's thinking about doing a group, and because it's important. It's one reason why record companies generally don't sign a group unless they've been together for at least 10 years. It's times have changed.
Oh, wow.
And they won't sign a group unless they've been together for about 10 years, most times, you know, because they want to make sure that they don't mess their money up. But I want you to go back to the first issue, if you don't mind talking about it, because it's therapy for people listening. Sure. This show is about creators growing.
Sure.
What was the first issues that started the thread?
Right. So I've always heard, you know, especially in a band, you're always equal in poverty. So when you're not making any money, everybody's kind of on the same level trying to get this. Now, not everybody is going to escalate at the same rate. Somebody's going to write a song that's going to sell millions. Another one's going to be able to, you know, maybe get some studio gigs because they met somebody on the road, you know, so different avenues of income are going to start with individuals. If you got 5 people in a band, there's going to be 5 different opportunities for each one of them to make some sort of income, maybe outside of that band, maybe within that band. Now, at Solar Records, we had the opportunity to write for other artists. So there's always that opportunity to use your platform as an artist to, you know, meet other artists to continue your career. Now, one thing that we learned is that you never want to jeopardize your base. If your band is your number one bread and butter, you don't want to jeopardize that to go play with, I don't know, Captain Crunch and the Funky Bunch, whoever. So when you start eroding from your base, everybody suffers. So the you know, in Climax, the girls who started writing music, you know, they started having what we call back in the big head and started feeling like, well, I don't need this band because I've got all these other things going on. I'm writing for this one, I'm producing for this one, I'm doing that. So the ego started coming in, and sure enough, I'm standing on my platform to say the first thing that will always erode any band or group is ego. Nothing else. Good. Ego, because with that comes money, unleveled incomes of money, will come popularity when the popularity starts being unleveled. So the ego starts playing on you, you know, and then you got those people that come backstage and go, hey, Cheryl, you know, you don't need this band. Why don't you come and, you know, sign with my company? Because, you know, I can get you this, this, and this. They may or may not be able to. But as soon as you start listening to all those outside people, that's when things start to go awry. And that's basically what happened with us. People started doing other projects, started listening to other people. You don't need this band. You could make all this money and just be a solo artist. And sure enough, the statement, "Together we stand, divided we fall," is a true statement. I don't care what level of business you're on. When you start having people leave any kind of organization, then it starts getting in a flux situation. So that's what happened. People started feeling like they could do solo projects and leave the band behind. And once that happened, the success level of the band and the other band member as a solo artist never was as successful as a united band front.
Right.
Now, that scenario is true for most
Yes.
famous groups that broke up.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a band, you have roles in the band.
Yeah.
You have your musicians, you have your singers, your lead singer, you have your writers. And the person that's the writers generally has the more value from the labels aspect of it, because they're the ones that are writing songs, but the musicians are important because they're the ones that's playing it. So in your mind, what could have been done differently, knowing that as a writer, you're getting these other opportunities, you're making more money because you're publishing, your pub getting better, right? You get other back end money from other stuff out of a whole nother situation.
Yep.
How can someone not to get the big head, when you write songs for other people, other famous people, and you're in a group, what are some tips that you can give to those people that are the exceptional talent in the group, but the group is doing good? How can you not get the big head? What tips can you have to help them keep their head on just deflated?
One thing you said that's key is that the story of bands breaking up keeps being written over and over and over again. The storyline is always the same. Learn from other people's mistakes.
Right.
I mean, don't think you're the exception that, you can just leave a situation and become whatever, the megastar, because a lot of artists have made the same mistakes. We've got to learn from each other. Otherwise, we won't get any further than where we are. So,
correct.
Read some of these artists' bio, what happened. I would say, watch some of these shows like Unsung.
Yeah, I love it.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, you see how the story is always the same on some level. So learn from other people's mistakes. I don't know how else to say it to really trigger, but sometimes having a virtual adult figure, because we all adults, but sometimes you need that person who's got a mature mindset or a business mindset that will sit the band down and say, look, you're going to make less money in the long run if you don't go do this interview, if you don't make this record, if you don't do this TV interview, because all of that is part of the mix to make you the megastar. So sometimes you need, I don't know, the manager. I hate to push managers because some artists do fine without managers, but you need somebody to basically pull your coattail and say, you got to do this interview. You got to be here at this time. Yeah, you're only going to get 2 hours sleep because you got to be on the plane to go here, here, and here. You have to have somebody who believes in your career path, who's not in competition with you. Because there's a lot of managers who subliminally are really in competition with their artists.
They want to be what you have, and you need a manager to tell you to shut up. You need a manager to tell you to shut up sometimes. You talk too much. When you come in there, just sit down and smile. Don't talk. Just be quiet.
Right.
So I want to start there for a second.
Yeah.
Because it's three. I always say there's three types of managers, right? The first type of manager is, I call your friend. That's somebody that you brought in for the ride. They have no musical, acumen. They have no musical background. They don't know publishing. They don't know copyrights. They're just a person that you trust from the childhood, and you know them to handle your business. Then you have the armchair manager, who's when I say the armchair, they pretty much, man, understand the business, but they don't really travel with you. They handle your day to day from a cell phone, right? But they're not really out with you. They just giving you knowledge or advice and how to do this. And then you have the manager that don't know the business, but there's a real go-getter, right? And that know everybody, but don't know the business, but they just hungry and they just get anything they think that works. And excuse me, there's the manager that's the plug. They're the manager like Diddy, right? They already in the record business. They already got big door connections.
Mm-hmm.
How can an artist understand how to deal with each four of those personalities? And I always say an artist don't need a manager until you got some business to manage. But what do you, in your mind, out of those personalities that I gave, for those four managerial types, which ones do you feel is advantageous for the artist?
Well, of course, I'm going to say the last one, the one who knows everybody.
Right.
And usually, now stop before you answer that. Let's say this, because the plug, generally they tell you what percentage you're gonna get. You don't negotiate anything. They're gonna tell you what you're gonna pay them, what they're gonna take. But go ahead now. Go ahead. Now you say number 4, so talk about that.
Well, there's another part to that too. You have to do your homework. You have to know what a manager is going to do, what a manager is supposed to do first. What's a manager supposed to do? The internet is your friend. Read up on it. See what it is that you need for your career to take off. So the person that has the plugs or whatever, yeah. And I get what you're saying about the percentages, but just think of it this way, which may be good or bad, however you look at it. But if they have enough plugs for you to say do 10,000 gigs and you getting 50%, you might be making more than if you get the person who's not going to take the percentage and get you 10 gigs, but you make only $1,000. So that's kind of a trade-off,
Go ahead. Preach. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's unfortunate. I think I want to say the standard percentage that a manager is supposed to get, I think is not supposed to be more than 20%, if I'm not mistaken. It might be 25, but I think it's 20%. Usually it's either 10, 15, or 20. So, somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that.
But it's changed now because managers do more than, managers do more than just kind of manage you. If they actually get you, not only if they go out and get you sponsorship, if they bring money to the table, they tend to get more. You know what I mean?
Right.
If they bring money to the table, they tend to get more.
Yeah.
So every scenario is a little different.
Yeah, sure. But a lot of managers say, whatever, 15% of everything income that you get, they could do that, which covers the sponsorship, covers the TV shows or whatever. So, first of all, what do you want the manager to do? I mean, because, a lot of people just say, I got a manager. That sounds good, but what is he doing? What they're doing, you got to know what you want, what you need. And if you don't know, read up on it. What are you trying to accomplish? Are you just trying to accomplish, a $1 million record? Or are you trying to have a longevity career? And when I say longevity, can you tour for the next 5 years? Do you have that kind of manager where they can get you in places where you can tour, whether you have a hit or not? I mean, there's a lot of artists out there that are making bank touring and they ain't got a hit since, I don't know, 1990.
Right.
So what do you want? That's the first thing. And a lot of artists don't know what they want. And that's unfortunate. And then the manager person comes in and says, hey, this is what you want. But the artist, being naive or green or whatever you want to call it, they don't have a clue that they're being shafted. And that's unfortunate. What do you want? Know what you want first. And even if it's not a complete list, it's a start.
Right. And I'm actually glad that you mentioned that. And you actually made my point to say, you have to know what you want. There are different managers. You know, when it comes to the music business, especially being on the independent side, there's not a standard anymore. It's what you negotiate.
That's
Is
true.
you know, and but the thing that I want to tap into, you know.
But can I say one thing on that?
Go
You
ahead.
can always work with a manager for a limited amount of time. You can say, okay, I'm gonna give you a year to get X,
Right.
Y, and Z done. So you don't have to sign with a manager for the rest of your life. You know, or at the end of the contract, you renegotiate, or what they call options. At the end of the contract, you have an option to take another year, another option to take another year. So I mean, shop around. Heck, I don't know how many managers at this point.
Wow.
It happens on all levels.
You got someone? Go ahead, Ron. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, all right, yeah, all right. Yeah, I like what you said, basically knowing what you want in a manager, because yes, that does sound good, and we hear that a lot from artists. But again, what is the manager going to do? And as Rico says, get some business for them to manage. And then, and normally a manager takes their stuff off from the top, I guess, if they have the money to pay them. But if not, just take pretty much 20% or 25%, whatever. So.
Well, let me say this one thing. Don't ever use a poor ass manager. If they ain't got some kind of money in their pocket, keep on walking. Because, it's not your job to put food on their table. It's their job to get your career moving big, huge, so that everybody can eat. Don't use a poor ass manager. I'm sorry. What kind of credentials does he have? Who has he managed before? Make sure it ain't Pookie down the street, because he don't know either.
Oh man, good one.
So to you guys broke up 1990, and Bernadette Joy, and of course there was some issues, man, with the name, and of course it was ruled that you guys all own the Climax name and you guys can use it. What do you think it'll ever be a reconciliation to get the original group back together, and or that you guys can reconcile? Or what do you think is the reason you guys can't reconcile? And just in your opinion, and I know the female common denominators in there, but besides that, right?
I, Cheryl Cooley, would how do I say, would hope, wish, like that there could be a reconciliation for us all to get together. The fans want that. I get it. Yeah. But in reality, in the physical world that we live in, it's not going to happen.
Well, it is.
And you know what? And that's that old adage when it comes to groups. We hear it over and over, over and over again. But I wanted to, my point of saying that, and we'll just stick that pin right there on that subject, because we have, this show is for creatives, and we have, not only do we have single people, single artists or solo artists, but we have, people that are thinking about starting groups, bands or groups that want to be a band for an artist. You know what I mean? And you have to understand that whenever you come into an arrangement with multiple personalities, it's going to be just that harder. It's going to be harder to get things accomplished if everybody are not on the same page. And a lot of times money is an amplifier. Everybody is good when they're poor because everybody is humble. And money is like alcohol. You know what I mean? If you go get a lot of alcohol, and if a person get drunk and they start cursing you out when they drunk, they really don't like you, right? They start calling you names and want to fight you when they drunk. They really don't like you, right? Because they're amplifying how they really feel. Wow. So money is an amplifier. People, they don't turn to another person. No, they actually become who they really are when they get a lot of money, right? And I say that all that to say, I hope you guys learned something from this show tonight, because I had her to come on, and if you notice, we got a comment here. Very true. Yeah. I saw somebody, man, put an angry face up there. Danny Smith. Danny, you still on? What was the angry face for, bro? What was the angry?
I guess because they're not together, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, because they're not together. Okay, all right. So, I see another angry face over there. They got three of them. Okay, family. But the thing is that I hope you guys learn something, because that's the reason I want her to come on. Although Climax, they are a classic group. Those meeting in the later rooms, men all pause. Those are power songs. Those songs are still played today in parties. They still played on the radio station. Those songs are played on more white stations than really black stations. You know what I mean?
It's a good point you brought that up. Yep.
Because I hear them all the time. I hear them. As well, especially at corporate events. The DJs, they play them. So I said all that to say, I hope you guys got something out of this show, and I love what you said, because the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. You said you have to dream. You have to dream. You have to visualize.
Yeah.
That's all. As a man thinketh, so is he.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
If you want to be successful, you got to first see it here, and then, because you can't achieve anything if you don't believe that you can achieve it. However, you can't have unrealistic dreams. You got to be able to make sure you have the talent. Hold on, here it is. Danny Ray. Oh, okay. Danny Ray say, I'm soaking it all in. Bridget Thorne. Okay, it's unfortunate that the music can't be the focus, because each gift is necessary to make a difference in the lives of people. Music heals the mind and the heart. Man, that's dead on the money.
Straight up.
And honestly, when you get into a recording contract, because I always say, and this is what I learned from being in the business, a contract can hurt the person giving the contract, and it can hurt the person receiving the contract, because you may not want to be connected to a person like that long term.
Oh, I gotta say one thing. One thing that the older musicians told us going in: you got to read it, and you got to get a lawyer. And I know lawyers are expensive, but you don't want to sign something that's going to push your career timeline back. You got to read it, and you got to have somebody interpret it for you or negotiate it for you. Got to.
Well, I want to say that, but any last words that you want to say? But I'm sorry. Before we do that, we're gonna play a game that we usually play every week. It's called 10. Yeah. Okay. See, so you gonna be good. I had to throw it on you, man.
No, I got tennis now.
It's called 10. So how this game works is this. I'm gonna make a statement. You have to choose either or. Let me see. We got to come in here before we get started.
Hey, are you frozen?
No, I'm in shock.
Oh, yeah, she in shock. She said, "Yeah, we just learned that about the attorney." Yep. So so basically, I'm gonna call out. I'm gonna say either or. You pick one. But the trick is you can't think, because it's a mental game. You have to say the first thing that come to mind, the first one you choose. All right.
It's no right.
Either or. So if I say a red shoe or blue shoe, then you're gonna say, well, a red shoe.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. All right. Wow. So here we go. Let's do it. You're like, I'm finna give you a price. You pull that checkbook out. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta have a disclaimer. I got a potty mouth, but okay.
Ice Cube or John Singleton?
Ice Cube.
Power or Empire?
Power.
Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
All in the name of love, or love don't need a name?
All in the name of love.
$120 million with 5 years to live, or $75,000 with 20 years to live?
The second one.
College education or trade school?
Trade school.
Malcolm X or Martin Luther King?
Martin Luther King.
Xbox One or PS4?
PS1.
Grand Theft Auto or NBA 2K20?
Like, what?
NBA thing. Yeah, that thing.
Fried chicken or pork chop?
Fried chicken.
Hey, man, that's hilarious, man. That's what it's always one of the fun things that we like to do, man. Kind of light it up, you know. And any last word that you want to say, Cheryl?
Oh man, I always encourage people, if you have a vision, if you have a dream, just go for it. I mean, the one thing that I had the nightmare of or fear of is going to my deathbed going, if I had given music one more try, what would have happened? So just go for it. Just go for it.
Love it. Love it.
Any last words, Ron?
Hey, well, Cheryl, look, I'm just grateful to have to know you and to build this relationship with you. When we come to LA, hopefully I'll get a chance to see you physically. So,
Oh yeah, sure. Hey, we have rehearsals every Wednesday night. You can come on.
all right, yeah, my brother-in-law lives in Compton, so
That's not. Well, it's about a half hour, 45 minutes. It ain't that far.
all right. Hey, I'll come see you. But hey, thank you so much. And if you ever need us, we're here for you. All right.
I'd love to come back again, talk some more. So, just let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
So I want y'all to hold the line here. And if you haven't had an opportunity, man, to subscribe to the channel, go to YouTube in the box, Southern Emperor. Make sure you go and subscribe at musicindustrymakeover.com. And don't forget, Just Life Sunday night, 8 p.m. God bless. Good night.